Hi everyone, I'm Stefan, the co-founder and CEO of Zeitgold. At Zeitgold, we use artificial intelligence to make accounting and financial management intuitive for small businesses. I previously co-founded SumUp, the payment company that is now serving over 1 million small businesses in over 30 countries worldwide with a payment solution. And now with my second company, Zeitgold, we're going after an even larger market opportunity for a very similar target customer group. And we are turning what is today a fragmented service market, a fragmented service industry, into a 20 billion euro software opportunity. And I'd like to show you how that works. Do we have a clicker for? Yeah, thank you. So for that, I'd like to introduce you to Teresa, who is a jazz musician by training, and she opened a restaurant in Berlin called Poke Pelelina after a trip to Hawaii where she discovered Pokeballs. So she and her 3 siblings opened Poke Pelelina, and they invested very heavily into the experience of their customers. They invested very heavily into the product, and in fact, the customers love it so much that they just opened their second location. Now, while there are not a lot of other restaurants out there that have such good Pokeballs, and I would encourage you to try if you're ever in the mood for this, there are 20 million small businesses across Europe, and Teresa is one of them. Now, I think a lot of us can imagine the hard work that goes into building a business like this, that goes into building the experience for the customers and to growing a business like this. I think what may be less obvious to some of us is the very hard work that goes into the background, that goes into the financial management side of that business. So I'd love to show you Teresa's experience prior to using Zeitgold. She was keeping a physical cash journal. It's a physical book where she had to record every single cash transaction that was going on in her business. She had to register new employees. She had to pay them. There's a lot of staff turnover in restaurants. She had to pay suppliers. She had to check that invoices she was getting from her suppliers were actually correct. And worst of all, she had to go sort, file, sometimes copy documents in preparation for bookkeeping and accounting that she is doing with an outside tax advisor. And this is a very painstaking amount of work. You have to go through your bank account statement. You literally have to check off every single line item to make sure that all your invoices are there and the data is complete. So Teresa was spending about 10 hours per week on this financial management work. And this is while she was paying several hundred euros to her tax advisor for outsourced bookkeeping, accounting, and taxes. So overall, this was expensive for what she was getting. It was overwhelming, and it was very time-consuming. But at the same time, it was the only solution that was actually available to her. Now with Zeitgold, this entire process becomes simple and intuitive. If the clicker works. Here we go. So Teresa got a box, the Zeitgold box, into which she can simply put all of her paperwork, her invoices, her receipts, her contracts. A courier picks it up once a week, it gets digitized for her, and then the entire process of financial management happens in the background as much as possible. And whenever she has to do something, she can do it straight from the Zeitgold app. So in this case, this invoice was taken care of in terms of bookkeeping and VAT returns by her accountant, and the only thing left for Teresa is to actually pay it inside of the mobile app, and she can do that straight with one tap in the Zeitgold app. So let me tell you how that works. So I explained the first part of the process here in terms of the documents being picked up. Of course, there's also an e-box where customers can send their digital documents. And the core of Zeitgold now is this intelligent data platform. That is where we use artificial intelligence to capture and structure all of the data for that small business. And we output it into 2 streams. We output it towards the customer in the form of our mobile app, and we output it towards the accountant in the form of structured data. Now, what that does is it enables the small business owner to literally run her business from the smartphone and be guided in that experience and be guided in the decisions that she has to make. And it enables the tax advisor, the accountant, to run bookkeeping, accounting, and ultimately tax returns in a much, much more efficient way than it was ever possible. So this is introducing a game-changing effect in this entire industry. Now, let's go a little bit deeper into the experience for the customer and what this enables. So I talked about the list of reconciled invoices for the month and how Teresa had to do this by hand by checking off the bank account statement. Now with Zeitgold, this list gets created automatically. So you see it here. And for example, there is a payment of 150 euros on her bank account statement, but the invoice is missing for it. So she presses on this. She sees details about that invoice. And if she has it lying around, she simply puts it into the Zeitgold box. inbox. If she doesn't have the invoice, because maybe she lost it or she never received it, she just presses at the bottom here and creates an email to the supplier with all of the required information. And again, she can send it off with the press of one button. So you can see how that makes the entire financial management for the business simple and intuitive. And in fact, our customers are not just using this for bookkeeping preparation, like in this example, or payments, like I showed you before, but they're also using it for managing their employee data, for preparing payroll, for taking care of the daily cash journal, and for looking and searching for any documents that they have in the digital archive. So now let's take a major step back. What does this mean? So at the core, it means that we're taking a 20 billion euro market, the fragmented market of hundreds of thousands of accountants across continental Europe, that is in fact a 20 billion euro market, and we're disrupting it with intelligent software. We do that in a software as a service business model. And what I just showed you is in fact just the beginning, because once there is structured data, and this is the core of Zeitgold, we have found an economically viable and scalable way of creating structured data in the small business context. Once that exists, a whole new ecosystem of applications can live on top of that data. Just think of opportunities such as lending, supplier management, business intelligence. We've seen that in enterprise. Once there was structured data through ERP systems, an entire ecosystem launched, and we think that this is actually possible once we launch Zeitgold as a platform towards third-party applications. Now, but even with what we have today, our customers can in fact not live without Zeitgold anymore. We've seen less than 10% churn over the last 12 months, and this includes structural churn, which is obviously a big topic in SMB because of turnover of businesses. And we recently asked our customers what change to their lives it would make if they could no longer use Zeitgold, and 95% of them said that they would be disappointed. In fact, many of them very disappointed. And why is that? So for some of our customers, it is about just the experience of running the business on the go, of running it and paying wages while being on a bus. For others, it is about that intuitive experience for going through the daily exercise of the cash journal that you have to do for regulatory reasons. And for others, like Anna, it is about our plug-and-play solution for going digital, for going paperless, for actually getting rid of the desk that you have standing around and that filing cabinet. What all of them have in common is that they're looking for an intuitive way to run the financial management side of their business, and this is what Zeitgold provides. Now, with this, we are growing fast. We have not focused much on growth so far. We've been focused on building the core technology, solving the core underlying data science challenge, and nailing the experience for our initial customer base. But we have 6x'd in the last 9 months since August last year, and we're now at a point where we are approaching 2 million in ARR. So let me give you a glimpse into one of the recent growth experiments that we've done. So we've done a sales push in a part of Berlin, in the northern part of Berlin, inside of Prenzlauer Berg. And this is the result that you see from that sales push. And this actually took us, and this was just focused on restaurants as like an initial customer test base. And this already got us to about 10% market share. Right? And so this gives you an indication for the type of mass market density that our solution can eventually reach. Now, as I said, so I previously co-founded SumUp together with Jan and 2 other friends. And our third co-founder, Kobi, is from Israel. He served in 8200, that's the cyber intelligence unit in the IDF. And he was then CTO for an ad tech business in Tel Aviv. We have a team, a world-class team, I shall say, of 130 people between Berlin and Tel Aviv from some of the world's leading technology companies and universities. And I am proud to say that we recently got recognized as one of the top 3 tech employers in Berlin, based on Glassdoor and Kununu ratings. We've raised 24 million so far from Battery Ventures and Holzbrink Ventures as our lead investors. And while we're not actively fundraising right now, we've made a practice out of bringing a selected group of people into our process early. So if you're interested in that, then please come and talk with us. So to summarize, we disrupt an existing 20 billion euro service market with intelligent software in a software as a service model. And our customers love that. And we are taking small businesses to the digital age. And we're growing fast. We have the right team and we have the right culture in place to change the lives of eventually millions of small businesses like Teresa as one of Europe's leading technology companies. Thank you very much.